ตัวนี้หรือ Camera sucks อ่ะอืม What up? What's up, friends? If you're from Fin Farming, put your hands up. That means you are an Athenian of just not more than a few months? No? How about Athenians of at least Captain Obvious has a really strong plea. How about those of us who have been Athenians for about a year? At least a year. Hands up. Actually, how do I see the responses? Since pre-sale, baby. That's right. We got the OGs here. I never doubted that. So we have eight people who put their hands up, 7. And then how many OGs do we have? Like since minimum 2 years. Minimum 2 years. Put your hands up. 11, 12, 15, 16, 15, 16. Some people are not sure. Going back to check the calendar. When did I come in? Ground zero. Damn, son. Damn, guys. That's pretty sick. Wow. So that's like almost 30% of you guys are the OGs. I am super heartened to hear of that. And that only proves that yeah, I guess Fin farming can only go so far. So today we've got a really exciting program. Obviously, I know you guys have many questions. I, as an Athenian, I also have many questions. It's been a while since I last saw Lucas as well. So the questions that you guys are asking, I am also asking. Do make sure to put your questions in the Q&A section. So the Zoom, right? You can see there's a Q&A button. We're going to address only the questions from the Q&A. So this is to avoid spamming the chat, all right? The chat is like just for random miscellaneous stuff, making fun of Leo if need be, but the real questions go into the Q&A section. Q&A section, please. And nobody can answer price questions. That's upfront. If we could, then we'd be God. Also, secondly, this session tonight is recorded, so we really want the official copy of the information that's shared tonight to be out, so that there's no misunderstanding. You guys can always check back if you're unsure, if you couldn't remember what was shared. You can always check back to this. I believe the video of this recording will be uploaded. And also, I believe the team will also be coming up with a summary of what is the salient points that are shared tonight. Other than that, I think we are good to go. Feel free to chat along the way. Please don't spam, else we'll kick your butt. And all questions, I repeat again, go into the Q&A section. Okay. All right. So, Lucas, we're good to go.
All right, good to go?
Yeah.
Hey, hi everybody. It's been some time since we last did our AMA, right? So you guys can hear me, right? Can you hear that? All good?
I can.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Right. So since sometime we last did our AMA, and I think this is I find this as a pretty good time to communicate and share things that's happening. Answer any questions, and also to let you guys know really the main theme of today, right? It's to give you guys a more insights and really the rationale on why we make this strategic pivot, right? To prioritize artificial intelligence as the front and center of Affyn, to make this change. So of course I won't be able to give the full entire detail specifics, right? I want to be able to give you guys as much as I can. So this particular AMA. Now so one thing to note, right, is this AMA can be a little bit controversial, right? Because naturally, once you make such a big change, there will definitely be, you know, people who will criticize it. Some people may support it, right? Some people may, you know, may don't like it. Some people may like it. So I think regardless, I felt that it was important to just share it as it is. And some of you may be very excited about the idea, our rationale. Some people may be against it, right? So I think this is really the purpose of this AMA is to really clarify everything. Now the whole, I mean, really to just set up the stage, right, before I share the whole entire rationale, it's really to understand why we actually make this pivot. It's you know, actually since late last year, right, we have been at least for me lah, I've always been thinking of what can we do to ensure that the business thrives, right? What can we do to ensure that Affyn thrives, and what can we do to ensure that you know, Fyn token thrive, right? So for this is really my main priority, right? All my decision making, all my, you know, everything that I do, it's really to protect the business, to make the business thrive, and to protect Fyn token holders, and to make Fyn token thrive. So everything I do, it's really to put this as my main priority. And so at least for the start of the year, we actually made a lot of plans and did a lot of experiments, right, to really see what can be done to, you know, to drive the value of Fyn token, drive hype, drive marketing, drive new eyeballs, drive demand. So we actually saw that when Fyn token was at 1 cent, I think at that time a lot of people felt that it was very difficult to revive this token, right? How do we actually bring this up? But we had at the time I really felt we had a great plan. There was so much uncertainty back then. However, it went way beyond our expectation. I was thinking, well, if you can do a 5x, it's actually pretty good already. So what happened was we went from 1 cent to as high as 19 cents, right? We did a 19x in the month of March, and it became one of the biggest gainers in Web3 gaming in the month of March. So I think at that time, a lot of people made a lot of money. A lot of the people started thanking us and stuff like that. It also boosted our reputation a lot back in Q1. And it also expanded our connections and really boosted our reputation in the month of Q1. So everybody was like, wow, calling me, wow, congrats. So a lot of people made a lot of money, right? But after that, the price started going down and down and down. But when people starting to sell, actually you realize that, okay, people are making money. I think that's the point. So one of the many good things that came out of it, right, was not only from our learning experience on how we actually can drive that hype and demand of a token. We also generated some revenue from the launch of Funny Arena, and we also gained quite a lot of good connections from there. And one of the many connections that we actually gained from, it's actually the connection with we actually met with, I think you all probably might know this name called Niantic, right? So Niantic, it's the company behind Pokemon Go, right? And we actually you know, very luckily we actually had a chat with them. This was a couple of months back. And for me, right, I've always been thinking, what are some of the, I've always wanted to know, okay, is there a way where we can really take things to the next level? I wanted to remain flexible on the things that we can do, and so that we can actually make the business thrive, and we can you know, make Fyn token thrive. I think that's really my main purpose. So when I met with Niantic, I wanted to, have a chat with them, see if there's a chance for collaboration. I shared with them our metaverse idea and our ecosystem idea and how the whole entire geolocation, real world utility, synchronized experience between the virtual and the real world kind of things with them. And actually they were pretty impressed by it, right? And they were like, oh, actually this is a very interesting concept about what we were actually building behind Nexus World. So so with the chat with them, we really learned a lot of things. It was, I think, I can't remember how long the meeting was, but it was very, very insightful meeting with Niantic. So when we met with them, one thing I really learned about, right, was we completely and utterly underestimated we really I think this really my fault lah, right? That we really completely underestimated developing Nexus World, how much resources and how long it would take to actually develop Nexus World. And coming from, learning from what Niantic did, right? It gave us a very important insight. Wow, okay, this was way off our projection. This was way off what we expected. It was quite scary lah, right? So that was one of the main starting point, right? And it actually gave me an insight of looking at the future. So as the captain of the company, I needed to know, oh shit, what can we do, right? So I want to share a slide to really give you guys an insight of what we learned about, right? I think y'all can see screen, right? So when we look at Pokemon Go, okay, as you all know, Pokemon Go, what we learned from about how the whole entire start of Pokemon Go was in 2010. It was actually started with Ingress. So Ingress took about 2 to 3 years of development, and they have the very fundamental geolocation, architecture, and the AR game and all that kind of stuff. And in 2013 March, right, they started conceptualizing Pokemon Go out of an April's Fool's joke. And after the conceptualization, the game design and everything already, they went into full development mode in 2014, all the way until their global launch in July 2016. So in July 2016, right, when they launched Pokemon Go, their geolocation game, there was no multiplayer, there was no player versus player. And the only feature, if you guys remember, if you played the game, right, back then, it was just only monster catching only. That means you just go in the game and just catch monster. You cannot fight with other players. You cannot do multiplayer. Nothing at all. It was just one feature. And the entire development roadmap, right, was 6.5 years. 6.5 years from the start to the global launch of no PvP and no multiplayer. Now, by the time when they launched their multiplayer and PvP was in December 2018, which also means to say that they took almost 8.5 years, more than 8.5 years of development, finally to get to a state where they can do player versus player and multiplayer. So this was Pokemon Go. Now, so one thing we also learned, right, was that a Niantic like that took 8.5 years of development. This Niantic became way more experienced team, a very much more experienced team. They have way more capital now. They have way more money and capital. They have a much bigger team, right? And they have a technological foundation ready already for the development of their next game, which was another big hit, which is called Monster Hunter now, right? Maybe some of you may have played this game, or this was a I felt that, wow, this is one of the best created geolocation game lah, Monster Hunter now. So now, right, what we learned about Monster Hunter now was the conceptualization of Monster Hunter now was in 2018. I think early 2018 or mid 2018, right? So they started conceptualizing Monster Hunter now with the Niantic team that they have, and they use the basically they already have a team and a framework, everything already. Okay, they went into development in April of 2019. They have a team of developers of over 100 core developers, not including all the external vendors, which is another few hundred lah. Basically, they have a monster team lah, right? And by the time when they launch Monster Hunter Now, right, global launch, this was in September 2023. So by the time when they global launched Monster Hunter Now, right, there was no PvP. Even till today, right, there is no player versus player one to date Monster Hunter Now, right? And it's only just team rate. So now we are talking about a team, right? Okay, that is way more experienced than before. They have a way bigger team. They have a much bigger capital than before, and technological framework and foundation ready for them. And it still took them 5.5 years to build Monster Hunter Now. So don't forget, Pokemon Go took over 8.5 years, right? Monster Hunter Now took 5.5 years. So they actually learned a lot already. Now then when we started to share about Nexus World and the vision of what we want to build, right? I think they felt that I think it was very ambitious lah in terms of development, because don't forget because Pokemon Go, right, and Monster Hunter Now is just the game pillar only. We are building way more than that, right? We are building the Nexus World game. We are integrating an entire pillar, which is the lifestyle real world utility, into the ecosystem. And we are also integrating Web3 into it, right? Which is your Nexus World land, your Fyn token utility, and your NFTs and stuff like that. So there's a lot of integration apart from just the game. Now we are talking about, so for Nexus World, I mean, probably for many of you who have followed us since the very beginning, we started onboarding the games team, right? The more experienced team. They only started joining, I think the very first few started joining in May only. Then they started subsequently joining in June, July, and more. So the team is still setting up back then one. And today of August 2024, it has been about 2 years plus already. And we have all the art assets, the game design, that we have built all this plus 2 years plus. We have the foundation of Nexus World land, all the land art and all that kind of stuff. But again, what we, after really learning from Niantic, right, really referencing what they did, with now suddenly we realize that, okay, it's super duper ambitious to think that we can get to their level of quality game in just 3 years or 4 years, right? So if a company like Niantic takes 5.5 years to build a Monster Hunter Now, it becomes very absurd to think that we, a way smaller team than them, right? They have a team that is way smaller team than them, less experienced team than them, and lesser capital than them, to be able to do it faster than them. I think that is really, for me, a reality check lah, right? Now then, if we push out the current, so this becomes a big problem already, right? The problem becomes, okay, if we have to get to as long as they take, how will I be able to find the resources to build until the end state of Nexus World? Because the fact is, we may not have enough money to build Nexus World until the end state, right? And it's a very likely scenario. Now, even if we get somehow we get Nexus World to the very, very end state, right? We don't have the money like them to be able to inject capital to do marketing and drive users into the game. So this is a very overly absurd. Again, this really my fault lah. We did not project that the development roadmap to be so long, so expensive, and so crazy, right? So now I was stuck in a rut lah, right? Okay, what can we do to solve this problem? So this is a real problem, right? What can we do? What can we do? First, we don't have that kind of money like them to get it to the end state of like them, right? Are we able to find money? Yeah, we try to earn some revenue here and there lah. Actually, we did generate some revenue. It's just that it's not enough, right? It's not enough to get to that level. So then of course, should we give up? If I give up, then it's a bit weird, lah, right? And should I find solution? So I've been thinking of solution, right? What are some of the ways that I can do? What are some of the ways that we can do to actually find a solution of it? So I didn't want to find excuses and say, other people, big company also do until so difficult. We small company, we should just give up, right? I didn't want to find that excuse. Of course, everything can sound an excuse now, right? But I didn't want us to just give up like that and say, screw it, right? They also so difficult to do, other people so difficult to do, we also can't do, right? So instead of finding excuses, I wanted to really focus on finding solutions. So again, I wanted to be very, very clear with you guys that we don't have that money and resources to see Nexus World to the end state. The really end state, like your PvP, your multiplayer, your end state of Nexus World. I think that's really the matter of fact, right? So what are some of the solutions that can we do? Okay, so there are a few ways to do this, right? Number one, it's we stick to the current plan, right? And just hope for the best, right? Or we have to make an entire pivot and change that can make the business thrive and make Fyn token thrive, right? So now the current setup is like that, right? This is the current plan. I don't know if y'all can see, right? So this is the current plan. We are building Nexus World and we are building Fynatic, which is our lifestyle pillar, our lifestyle pillar of the ecosystem. So now for Fynatic, it took them so many years and so much money and such a big team to build this. They don't even need to build this. Now we have to build this. Now it's very absurd, right? So now the current plan is this. We have a team, right? We have a team as a startup team to build this ecosystem, which is your Nexus World and your lifestyle. So we have a team that builds the game, we have a team that builds the lifestyle app, that runs it super thin, right? So now the problem with this current plan, right, is that if we continue this way, we will need to spend more and more money. And by doing this, right, we also understand from the developers and the team standpoint that they don't have enough people to build Nexus World. I think we have a big team, right? We have a pretty big team, as you guys know, but the team is still not enough, right? It's way smaller than a team like Niantic. So the current plan is we need to keep on adding people into the team, right? But it needs more money, and we eventually need to add more and more and more headcount into it. So now we are stuck in the middle, right? The team needs more people, the developers need more people, but we don't have that kind of resources to keep adding more people. It will just keep burning the money and eventually we'll run out of money, right? So now we are stuck in this situation. Okay, what can we do? Now the current plan, if we don't make a pivot, if we don't make a change, right? Okay, the pros is we stick to what we know, right? Because we have been doing this for some time, about 1 year plus 2 years already, 2 years each already, since 2012. Since 2022 we started developing like that, right, to 2024, which is today. So we stick to what we know. There's no changes to the roadmap, right? We'll still get our beta, Nexus World beta, all this kind of stuff, right? We basically, it's comfortable, right? No need to make changes and anything. And it's also a much more safer and predictable way, because this has been done. This has traditionally been the method. So this is the pros of if we don't make a change, we just stay comfortable and continue with the current plan. However, if the current plan, if we don't make a change, right, the cons is this, right? So the cons, because the trend has shifted so much since the last time we talked. If you remember, when we started development and today, right, this 2 to 3 years, right, you see how the macro modern trend has changed so much, right? Generative AI become a very, very big part of modern technology today, right? When we first started that time, there was no talk or adoption of generative AI one. Now at least for me, I cannot live a day without using AI one. It's a daily use for me, as from a just not only from a business angle, but from also from a personal level. So if we don't make a change, we are definitely going to fall behind, because a lot of companies are going to adopt AI and to build their business. So I want us to be at the forefront of innovation. And from a study I saw, right, that only about 4 to 5% of businesses has started adopting AI to build to integrate into their business, to use AI. And I don't want to be the laggard, right? I wanted to be, at the forefront for us, so that we are at the front line, right? So this is one of the main cons. We will lag and fall behind one. No, definitely one, because we are stuck. We are still stuck in the old ways. Second con, it's we have very high operating expenses, which is we'll keep on burning money. If we stick to the current plan, with new information now we know, we will definitely go into a doom together, right? So that is the high operating expense issue. The third cons is that is little to no revenue, right? I mean, yes, we still earn revenue, but it's nothing compared to our operating expenses that is burning every month. And when there's no revenue, it brings little to no value to Fyn token in the short to mid term. Again, as I mentioned, right, I need to protect the business. So when we protect the business, it's about how we can make the business thrive. How can we bring in revenue? And when with revenue, how can I help my priority, which is to make Fyn token thrive, right? Not just in the long term, right? At least in the near to mid term also as well. So if we don't change, right, we'll have a long timeline and slow development. And this is, again, I really take responsibility of this. I should have seen it coming that, wow, it takes such a long time to build something like this. And if we don't change, right, we will have a half-baked product in the short to mid-term. Basically, if we still stick to the same method, right, maybe, right, okay, even if we push out a Nexus World Beta. Nexus World Beta, it's a half-baked product that will not generate revenue for us, because it's still just a beta, right? And we may not have enough resources to add more headcount and see the product to the end state. And moreover, right, in the long term, this current plan, we will not be able to scale in the long term. We will keep on stay in the same method, and a very, very expensive method. So really, because of generative AI today, right, this has changed the way how we really do businesses. So after really thinking through, okay, should I prioritize, okay, let's just stick to the current plan and get it done and out. Okay, at least I make my commitment to the roadmap, right? But by making the commitment to the roadmap, I'm actually sacrificing the business and sacrificing Fyn token holders if I just stay with the current plan. So now I've been thinking, okay, what are some of the ways? And we found a solution, right? And the solution, right, can help us, number one, lower our operating costs way down and extend our runway, right? Remember, I shared with you late last year, we still have a runway until 2025 and beyond. However, by lower our operating cost now, this solution, it can extend our runway further. So that the business survives. So most important is the business survive, right? That's the number one thing we have to do first. Number two, this solution can help the business thrive with revenue in the near to mid-term. When your business is thriving with revenue to near to mid-term, Fyn token will start driving value in the near to mid-term already. Because again, Fyn token, of course, if you just depend on speculation alone, speculation can only get you so far, right? We drive marketing, we drive speculation. It's just, it will be very short term. So we need to help the business thrive and start driving revenue. Revenue equals to value to Fyn token. Okay. And number four, it puts us, a Fyn, right, okay, no longer be perceived as a metaverse company already, right? We put AI, artificial intelligence, as the forefront lead with AI as our forefront. So this put us at the forefront of innovation, and in the long run, right, it can help accelerate and scale our development process. So now this new plan is like that one, right? I mean, of course, some may hate this new plan, some may love this new plan, some may leave Affyn because of this plan. New people may join in Affyn because of this plan, right? But I want to just share. So again, it's my responsibility to let you guys know what we are doing and what is our plan, right? And really up to you to see whether this is a great plan or not, right? But again, this is not an impulsive move that we made. This is really months and months of really a very detailed thought process before we decide to make this move. So this new plan is like that. Instead of really using the old method of very high operating expense to build the product like 𝗟𝘂𝗃𝗲𝗿 and Fynatic, especially 𝗟𝘂𝗃𝗲𝗿, that is the extremely difficult part, right? We decided to do a joint venture with an AI company. And with this joint venture, we will be onboarding superstar, a big deal CTO, Chief Technology Officer, into the joint venture entity company, and onboard 10 to 20 AI engineers into the joint venture company, right? So these AI engineers are not just anyhow AI engineers, right? They are from big names like even from Bloomberg, right? Even from MIT, from Oxford, from Caltech and Tsinghua University and all these places one. So these are really talented AI engineers, and using this AI, and when we onboard them into the team, right? These AI engineers' primary focus is to build an AI infrastructure for the company. So this AI infrastructure, right, okay, will be the foundational layer for building our ecosystem. And in terms of priority, right, we will have to make shift of the roadmap and the development plan. Because with a new CTO on board, the new CTO will definitely have his own plans, his own thoughts, and his own strategy on what is the priority to focus on development first, rather than developing multiple things all at the same time. The good news is that this joint venture, okay, so this is the part that is pretty good lah, right? The good news with this joint venture is that the joint venture company, the company that we joint venture with, right? They already I mean, I'm not supposed to say it so early, right? But I felt that this AMA, I wanted to give you guys a heads up. I don't want to wait until everything all out already, then I tell you, right? But the joint venture company, right? They already have existing products in their business already, and their products are already selling and already generating revenue for them already, right? So they have an artificial intelligence that helps businesses that to interact with their customers. So basically, it's a AI that you can talk with, and the AI respond and talk back to you one. So they have the architecture there. They also have another product line that okay, I cannot say too much lah, but basically they already have an existing product. They have an existing framework already. Whereas for us, we also have an existing product, right? We have built as you saw, we have the Fynatic app. And actually there's also a lot of AI component behind Fynatic, right? So they are excited about what we are doing. We are excited about what they have, their expertise, and we'll be doing a joint venture together with them, and onboard 10 to 20 AI engineers from them to actually build the AI infrastructure that's going to be part of Affyn, the Affyn ecosystem. So this AI infrastructure will be the first priority that we are going to build concurrently with Fynatic. Okay. Now this new plan, right? Okay. Some of the pros. What are some of the benefits? Is number one, it significantly lower our operating costs. I think this will put less stress onto the company. It extends our runway. It gives us more breathing space, right? Rather than, wow, we have to stress every month, stress every month, right? I think that's the, I need to do it early, right? Not wait until like what until in the last minute and do. So we have to make this move. All right. So this will significantly lower our operating costs. This enable us to bring in revenue in the near to mid-term. Once you start bringing revenue into the company, this changes everything, right? when you start bringing revenue into the company, it starts driving value and demand to Fin in the near to mid-term. Ultimately, to me, it's Fin value ties to revenue, right? And so this is the third pros of it. Number 4, it also accelerates our development process once we have this AI infrastructure set up. Number 5, we also keep up with modern trends and to be positioned at the forefront of innovation. Now, once you are you have an AI technology and product in your company, right? It's very powerful because your company is powered by AI, right? And you have stronger support by governments and stronger support by businesses. Particularly, I don't know if many of you may know this, right? Singapore is pouring a lot of their, I think maybe their main focus is pouring a lot of money. Their government is pouring a lot of money into supporting AI companies. They're putting a lot of efforts into AI because one thing that cannot be denied is that AI is the future, and the future is already starting already. And AI will keep on developing, will keep evolving, and this is probably one of the most obvious things that's happening, and we don't want to be lag behind, still in the in just the metaverse world, right? We don't want to be, people already move on already, we are still living in the past. So that's why we wanted to really put AI as front and center of our development roadmap. And with the AI infrastructure, it can help in developing our metaverse and our ecosystem, right? So these are some of the pros. And it's very, very strong pros from a business perspective, where it helps protect the business, help the business thrive, and it also helps Fin token holders also as well, right? However, by making such a big change and new plan, right, sure got some disadvantage and cons one. So some of the cons is that, number 1, because this is something we need to learn, right? And artificial intelligence, of course, it's on the brink of massive adoption, right? But it's still something that everybody keep learning every day. And this is something that really excites me, right, personally. and we are very, very lucky to have really experts to actually do joint venture with us. But we cannot be complacent in the sense where, oh, we got experts, just leave it to experts. So we ourselves also need to be learning, constantly evolving in the space, right? And I'm always learning new things in this industry at this very junction. So this is something that we cannot just sit back and do what has always been done traditionally before. We have to get uncomfortable and start keeping updated, and need to learn and progress. For the company, for the management team as well, we need to do all this already. So the second cons is definitely there's changes to the roadmap. I don't want to, so the thing is, when there's changes to roadmap, right, it gets very uncomfortable for many people, and I totally understand, right? That's why it was not a light decision that I made when I wanted to make this move, because I know that if I make this move, there's sure changes to the development roadmap. And once there's changes to the development roadmap, not everybody will be agreeable on it, right? But I wanted to really just put it out and let you guys know there's sure changes to roadmap once we make this new plan. So, however, I felt that the pros significantly outweigh the cons, right? Number 3, there's uncertainty on timeline, temporary, because now the joint venture is still in the process, right? And we cannot give exact certainty on the timeline. And especially we need all this, we need the team, the CTO especially, to actually set out the timeline for us so that we have better clarity. But I can give an overarching view of what to expect, right? We can expect that this quarter, not this quarter, Q4, right? We will be able to generate revenue, right? Because we are not by the way, we're not build everything from scratch. I think that's one thing I wanted to be clear. We're not building everything from scratch and just build up some AI thing from zero. We already have a team we have a joint venture team that already has an AI product and technology. Ourselves, we have Fynatic also. We also have something already, right? Nexus World, we have all the art assets, the game design, the IPs, the story, the lore, all this already. So we are not building everything from scratch, right? But we have something already, right? The fourth cons is that we are now into uncharted territory. But again, for every innovation, surely there's uncertainty, and we have to step into this uncomfort zone to really know things lah. So I personally think lah, right? Okay, is that if we stay comfortable, very hard to have progress, right? When we are really progressing, it's definitely uncomfortable. So I felt that we really need to take that uncomfortable route to make a change, and instead of sticking to the old plan. As startups, I think that's one of the benefit that we have. We have the benefit to adapt to changes. No need to make such major pivot. No need to make such big drastic move like big major companies have. So I'm really grateful, right, that we are still in this stage to make this change, rather than when we become a big company like Meta, right? Meta, who is such a big major company, they need to, when they make such a major pivot, it's the entire restructuring, everything crazy one. So as a startup, right, I think we should lean into our advantage, and make changes and adapt accordingly to macro trends. Okay, so no, I didn't. So when we make this plan and company strategy, it wasn't like a okay out of thin air like that thing out one. We actually learn and look at what other companies are doing. If there's any successful company that make such pivots, and one of the main company, one of the companies that we saw make such changes and succeed, right, was this company. Okay. Sorry, I want to there's one more point I need to bring out in this slide, is that number one, our main priority in terms of development is developing and building the AI infrastructure first, right? And this AI infrastructure, and concurrently, second priority will be Fynatic, right? Fynatic will help us to drive revenue, and with revenue, we can do the dividend announcement to do buyback of Fyn token. So that is some of the that's why this is the priority, because Nexus World. So the reason why Nexus World is number 3, it's because number one, it's the most expensive and the longest to build and develop, and in the near and short term, it does not bring us revenue for the company. So it becomes we need to set the foundational right first before we go and put focus on Nexus World, right? So now, as I mentioned just now, is one of the companies that we take reference from, right? It's this company. Don't know if y'all can see. Are you able to see the name at the top, which is Meta? So this is the stock price of Meta from 2020 to date, which is August 2024. This 4 years. So as you see, right, what happened was in July 2021, 28th of July 2021, Mark Zuckerberg, right, made his stated his intention clearly that he was going to put his entire focus to build the metaverse. Remember this? All right, probably many of you remember this, right? And so the stock price started going up a bit, right? And so I went to go and find right, all the sources, all the timeline. Basically, we need to learn right. We don't want to just guess, and we don't want to guess whether this strategy works or not. But we actually really go and research properly what other companies did. So we look at Meta, right? In October 28 October 2021, they did a full rebrand to rename themselves from Facebook and rename to Meta. So this was that time when they make this major announcement. So and then they started to mass hire the engineers, the team, right, to go and build the metaverse. I think they poured in billions and billions of dollars, and they hired 30,000 people to start building the metaverse. And they very quickly, not very quickly right, very quickly they started learning that it's damn expensive. damn freaking difficult. And you know, of course, the metaverse they built is very different from our. It's a way different on a different level. But they also learned that it's actually very tough. So of course, when they start put focus on the metaverse, right, their stock price start going down and down and down and down and down and down and down, right? So this was I mean, this look like Fin token, right? So now, what happened was, what Meta did, right, was they didn't just okay. So Meta actually did such a big rebrand, such a big PR move, and really put themselves at the front and center and say we are metaverse company. Now everything started going downhill for them, right? Their share price started going down, revenue started going down, everything started going down, down and down and down and down. So now he has a decision to make, right? The decision was whether to continue this route and make it work, right? They got tons of money to do it anyway, right? Or should they make a change and make a pivot? So as the CEO of the company, right, he made that decision, a really tough decision, to make a major pivot, right? To announce that they're going to prioritize artificial intelligence over the metaverse. This was in February 1st, 2023. Now, so now once they put AI as their front and center of the business, all these are anyway all online public information that you can find out, right? Not something that I just paint out of thin air one. So they started to announce a pivot to prioritize AI over the metaverse. They did a complete restructuring of the company, right? They as you saw, right, they lay off 3 times, 4 times, a lot of people, right? And then they started to prioritize AI. I mean, big companies suffer like that. You know, small companies are going to suffer much more, right? But once they make that pivot, right, they started building products, and then revenue started coming in, and definitely their share price start going up and up and up and up and up, right? And this was over here within 1 year, February 1st, 2024. I don't know why the date is exact one. Is it 28 July, 28 October, 1st Feb, right? It's an exact date, different year only. So just 1 year difference only, right? Okay, this 12 months different, their share price went up so much. And the moment they announced in 2024, February 1st, right, that Meta revenue soars as it pivots to AI, that 1 year, right, and they announced dividends for the investors, the price started going up and up and up and up already, and it's still maintaining, even though, you know, this announcement was like much earlier this year. So if we look at this, right, okay, this phase, right, was their metaverse phase. If they had continued sticking to the metaverse phase, right, I think it would have continued going downhill for them, right? But the moment they make that change and that pivot to prioritize to AI, everything started going very, very well, very, very well for them. So this, as I said from the very start of the AMA, of course, sure, there'll be backlash, you know, some will be not happy and stuff like that. But again, I wanted everybody to know, right? My main priority and my main intention is to always protect the business first, and to protect Fin token holders, right? And by protecting the business means I need to drop the operating costs, I need to drive revenue for the company. And by doing this, this can you know, help Fin token. So that's the reason why I have to make this decision. I don't expect you to, you know, wow, okay, it's 100% support it. I understand, right? But I needed to let you know my focus and my intention is to really protect the business and protect Fin token holders. Because the matter of fact is we really don't have the money to see Nexus World to the end state. Because our projection of development roadmap was way off charts already. And so that's why I needed to make that decision to do this, right? And protect the business and protect Fin token holders. So that's why I really hope, right? Okay, so this really what I hope. I hope this is really our state, right? The metaverse era is here. The moment we prioritize to AI, Fin tokens start going up. Okay, once the moment Fin token start going up only, that changes everything already, right? Because it means to say that we got revenue, the business is thriving, and also there are new demand and new money coming into the space. So that's the reason why I decided to make this change. Of course, you know, I'm happy to answer any questions, right? Since this is an AMA, you know, really happy to answer all the questions. But I hope this gives really good clarity to you guys, and maybe to Chris, right? Chris, if you have any questions on your side, I think Chris, I gave him a small heads up, yeah, like a couple of days ago, but it was a very short meeting only. So I also asked him, like, you have any questions, right? Okay, feel free to ask as a community, you know, a member also himself, right? And a moderator. I think it's also fair, you know, that I can answer some of his questions. By the way, none of these questions are is prepared one. Is I don't even know what he's going to ask, by the way. But I want to answer his questions first, and then I'll go on to the floor to answer all the Q&A questions. All right. So, yep, Chris, on to you.
All right. So, pretty big news. Of course, pretty big news for me as well. And of course, one of my first questions to Lucas, of course, I can read in the chats. You guys are clearly loving it. So of course, the question I had was like, why was it not able to be foreseen from the start, which is, I guess, I don't know if it's a fair question, but we took progressive steps. We had Buddy Arena, and then we had this, and then we were building Nexus World, and we continue to build Nexus World actually. And the original plan was to release a beta version of 8. So I think what is the crucial question here for us, for investors, is really like, how come we didn't foresee really the tech, or the kind of expertise required to push us over the line? Or is it that the metaverse has evolved in such a way where what we were initially confident with, having a beta that would generate us enough income already, is no longer viable today? Or what was it that the team came to realize?
Okay. So, well, there's a lot of questions within this question.
We covered it. I'm just looking through the Q&A.
Okay. Give me some time to think about this question. Wait, let me.
Oh, we can go slow with the Q&A questions.
Wait. I want to answer so I want to answer it really very transparently and truthfully also, right? Really to look back, because when you ask this question, I need to really think back one. Why didn't we see this happening, right? There are a lot of things that on hindsight, we could have done better.
Yeah.
Hindsight, but at that point in time, why did we not see it? Why did we make certain decision? Really need to look back, right? So, okay, so when we first started planning, right, in 2021, right, we have the white paper design, the conceptualization, we got into game design already. This was in 2021, right? We don't have that. We didn't have the we couldn't see how complex it was going to be developed. There's almost no reference. I think first we also asked to, actually I reached out to Niantic many times back then, 2021.
Right.
Not from a development purpose, right? It was for a marketing purpose. I wanted to be able to announce Affyn partner with Niantic. That was
damn.
Yeah. So they never respond. I think I'm
damn, we're too small for them.
Yeah, too small. So I reached out to them 10 to 20 times. This was even before we started fundraising. Before we fundraise, after we fundraise, it was only after earlier this year we actually became quite prolific that we managed to actually finally get connected to Niantic, right? But again, back then, I reached out to them many times. I even asked my team, right? My team, if they know anybody from Niantic, and to see if they can reach out to them, but they also never respond to them, right? So anyway, my back to your point is, when we started to bring in the experts, the more, so we want to bring in experts, right? To actually start to build Nexus World. Again, they also don't have that kind of experience in connecting Web3, right, and lifestyle real world and game, three pillars all integrate together. I don't think anybody have ever done like that before, right? So I definitely not their fault. It's surely is my responsibility one, right? I should have seen it coming. And that's why we couldn't see, we did not see this coming, right? We only know that, okay, building Nexus World is not going to be easy, right? But let's try it and give a estimated projection, right? And Buddy Arena came in was one of the ways that we wanted to mitigate our risk. Back then, right? Back then, the reason why we wanted to build Buddy Arena was to mitigate our risk. That if we build Buddy Arena, it can be so there was a lot of discussion between us and the team back then, the developer team back then. Should we go ahead to build Buddy Arena, right? One of the feedback I got was it makes sense because number one, by building Buddy Arena, we are creating a lot of the art assets, and all these art assets can be used for Nexus World. So at that time it makes sense to me lah, right? Oh, building like that, all these art assets can be used for Nexus World means, wow, we're actually helping Nexus World, right?
It's concurrent.
Second, building Buddy Arena allow us to generate revenue, right, for the company. If not, we don't make money at all, right? We are just building and just burning every month. So at that point in time, it makes sense to me to actually build Buddy Arena. And indeed, it actually generate us some revenue. Would I say that it's a bad move? Probably. Actually, I addressed this late last year. I actually addressed this to you guys already. So I think because of what we are really trying to build, right? We couldn't anticipate how freaking difficult it was to build our ecosystem. Just building the world viewer was a humongous task already, right? You have and art, and all that. That was.
I was there.
You were there, right? You saw. Yeah. So that was a day and night thing. But that was essential to Nexus World because that's the foundational layer of.
Correct. Yeah.
Nexus World, right? So that one took what, 1 year, almost, of building development, right?
Yeah.
6 months to a year of development. So then came there's another pillar, which is your lifestyle part. So again, we couldn't have anticipated it, right? And I mean, of course, I wish I met Niantic earlier. If we met Niantic earlier, we also have this insight earlier. So a lot of things is really on hindsight, lah. I mean, I wish I bought Bitcoin earlier also, right? I wish I bought Ethereum earlier. Really on hindsight, we wish we had done better, and we wish we had saw this had a better projection of the development. But the matter of fact is we did not see it until really, we managed to really talk to people and learn about it.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it doesn't really hit you until you, and I mean, I'm not a tech guy, but so that's why it doesn't hit me. It's a beautiful concept, but the work required to integrate a game with the Web3 component and with a lifestyle component in the metaverse, that is like it's 3 completely separate and completely whole products on their own. So I guess I can understand why this is necessary, and to hear of Niantic's development cycle is no joke lah. Basically, it's to build a solid product, and I guess that is why we are here, and we have to take a different strategy to ensure that eventually we get to where we originally said we wanted to be.
Yeah.
Would that be right?
Yep. So the thing is, it was very hard to see this, right? And I wish I saw it, but at that time we did not see it, right? It's only really when you are building through the things. So a lot of times when you are doing that time, then you start to learn one. I mean, we can sit here and plan what's going to happen in the next 5 years, but it's only when through doing you start to learn, then you start to see, right? And when you start to see, I think it's about adaptability lah. Are you able to adapt accordingly? So we felt that that there's that now is a really good time for us to actually make this change and adapt. And especially with seed. So we didn't want to like wait until it's too late.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. I mean, I'm just looking at a lot of the questions. They are mostly addressing the here and now, lah. For
Yeah.
example, what of our Gen Zero landholders? Does the team trust and invest in Fyn? Why are we not listing on more exchanges, etc.?
Mm.
I guess those right now are secondary to onboarding the pivot,
Mm.
or do you have a timeline for that?
So things like really the short term, right? The short term. So as I mentioned, right, short term wise, okay. So let me think how to answer this. Okay. So short term wise, right, we have a plan to continue the Fyn hodler program, right? That's continuing the airdrop. So again, that is the wealth creation part to Fyn holders. So if you're pledging your Fyn, we'll still be airdropping you tokens of other partner tokens. So some of the partner tokens we managed to negotiate a pretty good deal, right? Like you can see, that's almost 0.3% of total supply of imaginary ones, bubble tokens that will be airdropping to the holders. We have also managed to get an iAgent, right? iAgent. We also managed to get from Redacted also as well, and some of all the other companies. And we see more and more coming in. I think that is one part that can help enrich our holders and give utility value to the Fyn holders. So that's one thing. In the short term, I think my main priority, right, again, it's to ensure that the business thrive and drive revenue. The moment the business drive revenue, that's why we can declare dividend to do buybacks of Fyn token to sustain the price. So this is something I felt that learning from big companies like Amazon, right? Amazon make money, they declare dividend to buy back their stock price, and their stock price just keep going up. Even companies like Apple and what's this Berkshire Hathaway also. So this is something that I wanted to ensure. Now the thing is, because even if we stick to the current plan, right? Okay, personally, this is what I think. Short term wise, let's talk about short term. If we stick to the current plan, the short term is going to be bad for us. Reason is because if we stick to the current plan, yes, we still can stick to our roadmap to deliver Nexus World. It's just that the airdrop, the Nexus World beta will not be able to get us revenue, right? And if it doesn't get us revenue, the business hurts. It hurts the business. It also hurts Fyn token because it does not generate revenue. So this is the current plan. And because Nexus World, we don't know how long it will take, right, to get to the end state where we can really fully like compete on the level of Pokemon Go and Monster Hunter now. But if we make this new plan, it can help us in the near to short term, because in the near to short term, we have a product that can help us drive revenue, and with revenue, it can help us in helping in Fyn token. So as seen by Meta, right, when they make that pivot to AI, very, very quickly, within months, they already start to see traction for their stock price already and traction for their business revenue. So that's why I felt that this new plan would help us a lot more in terms of the short term. In terms of exchanges, as I mentioned, right, we because of what we did in Q1, right, it actually boosted our reputation and our connection to many different exchanges. We are connected to people from Binance, connected to OKX, connected to Bybit, connected to Coinbase, connected to Crypto.com. All these exchanges suddenly opened doors and were willing to talk to us. However, to get listed there, it requires a certain volume, right, to get to that, to be able to list on the big exchange. For example, if you want to get listed on Binance, right, you need to get to a large enough amount of volume to make sense to be listed on Binance. or even a platform like a Coinbase. So this is the matter of fact. But the moment we start gaining traction, the moment we start gaining volume, right? The door is already open already. We don't need to go and find them. It's already open. They are waiting and open for us one. We just need to get all these things that's happening. So that's the fact lah. Of course, there are some that you can just pay lah, right, to list on the exchanges. But then when we just pay money to list on exchanges, it's just throwing money to the exchange. The company lose the money to an exchange to get short-term hype that does not do anything. So again, remember my main priority is to really protect the business and protect Fyn token, not just anyhow, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean there must be a cost benefit to investing in a big exchange lah. Apart from just the short-term pump.
Yep.
That makes sense. Let's see. Will there be a plan for 𝗙𝗂𝗃𝗍 to be rewarded? A plan for 𝗙𝗂𝗃𝗍 to be rewarded to Fyn pledges?
You get played.
Maybe we can talk about the relationship between 𝗙𝗂𝗃𝗍𝗲 and us. Will our pledges get to receive some badass 𝗙𝗂𝗃s?
Okay, so the relationship between 𝗙𝗂𝗃𝗍𝗲 and Affyn, right, is that so 𝗙𝗂𝗃 is in a separate entity, and this entity is wholly owned by Affyn, right? So again, this is something that we need to I cannot guarantee yet. I cannot make promise on the airdrop, right? So I think it's not. I don't think it will be good for me to make any promises or commitment over here yet, right? Until we have certainty, then maybe we can talk about it. But probably this is not something that I want to make any promise or commitment over here. Yep.
Okay. So maybe someone asked what about the release final year of the game?
The final, what about the release final year of the game? Okay, so that's the thing, you see.
When Nexus World will really see.
Yeah. So when I saw how long it took Pokemon Go to get to a PvP multiplayer end state, it was 8.5 years. My heart sank lah, right? And then I asked them, so Monster Hunter now lah, right? So those data 2018, now it's 2024, 6 years already, still no multiplayer, PvP. So then it made me question, wow, if a team like that also takes so long to get to that level, right? What is my final year of Nexus World that I can get to the end vision of it, right? My end vision of Nexus World, it's way more than Pokemon Go, right? We are talking about PvP, multiplayer, geolocation game, battle system, all these things that's happening. And real world synchronization. That means you can go and connect with merchants, spend in the real world, and get a digital item in the game. And then after that, you can use your rewards in the game and spend in the real world. So all this to tie up together, right? It made me suddenly question, damn, like, okay, if I can do as fast as Niantic, that means I'm experienced as them. I have their experience, I have their team size, I have their capital, right? And I have their technological architecture. Probably maybe like, maybe another 3 to 4 years, right? If I have what they have, right? But the thing is, I don't have what they have, right? And so suddenly this become a question mark already, right? But if I use the current plan, but if I build an AI architecture and infrastructure, right? Okay, that changes things already, because what used to take a lot of money and a lot of time to create, right? This can be much faster, because using AI is a lot more efficient, a lot more effective, because it's a 24/7 productivity. So again, I cannot give a promised timeline, because since we are doing the joint venture with the company, the CTO will be able to give us a better clarity on what is about the roadmap and the timeline of what we're going to do.
I think this gives us an idea of the rationale behind implementing AI in our development. And so from what you're saying, it will actually speed up development and help us as in all aspects, be it the game, be it the architecture, be it the lifestyle integration. AI is able to speed up the process, right?
Yep, correct. So I think one thing that we also learned, right, is when we were building Buddy Arena, we actually learned a lot about it. Gave us insights, right, on how complex it is to actually build Nexus World. As you can see, Buddy Arena also face its own challenges, its own technical challenges, right? And Buddy Arena is a much smaller game as compared to what we are building for Nexus World. So that's why I think making this move, right, help us to give us a more efficient way to actually build Nexus World than using the old way. Yep.
Understand. So we have a question about Gen Zero buddies. When will they be relevant again?
So Gen Zero buddies, right? It's as I mentioned, like it's has always been a collectible, right? And it's almost like a Pokemon card, lah, right? In my opinion, right? Okay, this is just personal opinion, lah, right? If Fyn token does well, right, we become a 100 million market cap, 500 million market cap company, suddenly your Gen Zero, right, can naturally be valuable one. I think this is my personal opinion, right? But again, not I decide one, is the market decides, because it's a collectible speculative asset item. So I recently saw this art, right, called the 𝗟𝗂𝗲𝗿 something lah, right? I don't know if you know, by Leonardo da Vinci one. The art is $460 million. And why is it so valuable? Because of the story, right? It's tied to Leonardo da Vinci. And he only have 20 pieces of art, and that last piece of art was that 𝗟𝗂𝗲𝗿 art. So then, of course, it was lost, and then after that, it was found. So there was a story to it, there's scarcity to it, and therefore there's that kind of crazy value. So if let's say, again, the story lah, if let's say Affyn really does well, I believe that Gen Zero actually will be very valuable. But this is what I think, right? What market think and what I think is very different. It could be aligned, it could be different. Yeah.
That's true. I guess I'm just looking, I'm trying to group the questions together, guys.
Okay.
Jay, I know you are very impatient for your question to be answered, but there are actually a lot of questions. We're trying to get through them quickly. So I guess I will just wrap up this conversation on basically the NFTs lah. We have our GZBs, we have our land use case for these NFTs. I suppose the answer is similar. When finally the product or the beta is there, or when people can more clearly grasp what is being built, then of course the value of all these things will go up lah. But in the meantime, between now and then, is there any possible plan to provide other use cases or other utility for them?
For Fyn?
The NFTs. So I know Nofo, you asked about the land, and then we have Mike who asked about the NFT use case. So just to wrap up the conversation on these topics.
So I mean, to be very straight lah, NFTs are, as you see from the NFT industry, right, as a whole, we don't like focus on specifics. We look at from the NFTs on a whole, right? Most NFTs are speculative assets, right? In my opinion, if the whole industry start taking off already, I think our NFTs will also start to be able to follow the whole industry. But as the NFTs like land, right, it's tied to Nexus World. Again, it's a speculative asset that is based on Nexus World. So personally lah, this is what I also think, right? If Fyn does well, naturally our land will also be valuable. There's a whole reason why one, right? Because if Fyn does well, naturally people are bullish on the whole ecosystem and concept itself. then if Fin is going up, then people will be also bullish on the land, because that they speculate that the ecosystem will thrive, right? They speculate that the business is good, and naturally it pours back the confidence into the land. So if you ask me, really pure utility, right? Like even Fin main utility, it's again 𝗟𝘂𝗃𝗲𝗏 and the ecosystem, right? But it's ultimately, if that is not up, that is still a speculative asset. So therefore, land and Fin, right? To me is tied together one. But no matter what, my main priority is to again put priority on the business and to drive revenue on the business and to be able to drive value and demand on Fin first. That is my main priority.
Understand. And maybe we can pivot the conversation towards Fynatic. Someone asked about the Fynatic app, because from what you've shared tonight, I understand this will be one of the priorities for this new team of AI engineers to speed up the process of Fynatic, and hopefully this lifestyle app can start generating revenue for the company. So is there a timeline for this Fynatic app, and any other details that you want to share about Fynatic?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I think somebody asked, right, that how will we drive revenue for a Fin? That what I'm sharing is all very surface level and no specifics. I'll share more specific, right? It's just that I won't be able to go into the details of what's the price point, you know. Exactly, right. But at least I'll give you an idea on how it's going to start driving revenue. So when it comes to Fynatic, right, there are two key product pillars, which is number one is consumer facing, one it's business facing, right, merchant facing. So if you remember, part the for our ecosystem to thrive, right, your 𝗟𝘂𝗃𝗲𝗏 needs to be able to interact with real world merchants, real world businesses, right? So to have that synchronized experience where what I spend in the real world can synchronize with the virtual world. What I earn in the virtual world, I can spend in the real world. So this is what's required. So what's required in this angle, right, is we need to onboard business merchants into our ecosystem. So that's, I hope this part is clear to you guys. So part of the whole big picture, right, this puzzle, we want to put focus on this puzzle first, which is to onboard merchants into our ecosystem. Okay, I hope this is clear. If Chris, if it's not clear, let me know. Okay, so our primary focus, okay, is to onboard merchants into our ecosystem. So that is phase one on how we're going to get to our end vision, right, which is to onboard merchants first. So again, to clarify again, I got two products. One is consumer facing, one is merchant facing, right? So when it comes to merchant facing, there are two ways that we're going to. Okay, so what's beneficial to these merchants and how we're going to use AI? Why we are building artificial intelligence for the business to drive revenue, right? Is that we see a gap we see an opportunity, I would say, right? That as I mentioned, small to medium-sized businesses, which is all these merchants, only 4 to 5% of them are adopting AI for their business, right? Only 4 to 5%. And something that actually inspired me was when I went to one of my friend's shop, right? She owns a bar, right? You know, those sell drinks, alcohol drinks kind of stuff lah. So I was sharing with her about you know, AI and our product and Fynatic and stuff like that. And I shared with her, right, that what if you can use AI? What if you can an AI, right, like 𝗟𝘂𝗃 like that for your business? You know 𝗟𝘂𝗃 in Iron Man.
Okay.
All right. If you have a 𝗟𝘂𝗃 as your assistant,
we need a 𝗟𝘂𝗃 right now.
Yeah, or as an assistant or you know, like a partner in your business, how would that change your business? You should say, wow, this is of course very good lah, right? You have one of the artificial intelligence with all the data, all the information, all the industry data, right? Okay, to give you insights on your business. This would change a lot of things. So then, I mean, I did something very simple, right? I let her just prompt, create a new drink for me, right? Because as a bar, as a merchant, right, what they need to do is they need to constantly innovate new products, right? They need to come out with new drinks, new product line, need to excite their customers. So with just the AI prompting, right, come out with a new drink for me, completely new that has never been created before, with a new name, give me a great price point. So then the AI come out, all right, the exact recipe, okay, what to pour, what to do. So then she was like, whoa, okay. She on the spot went to go and make the drink up. Okay, use how much percentage, everything. Then she go and carve out the whole thing. And then the drink was just made on the spot like that. And even at the name one. And after that, she tried the drink and it was actually pretty good. So she put that drink into the menu. All right. And she said that this thing actually saved her so much time. No need to go and really go and think, wow, plan out an entire drink. It was just like that, come out a new drink already. And of course the AI it's not polished, right? It's a very generative, general AI that does not understand her business. So I say that what if the AI, right, we understands your business inside out, right? It can understand your inventory, it can understand your business, branding, your marketing, your sales last month, everything, and then it can come out in personalized recommendations to you in terms of marketing, in terms of branding, in terms of price point. It knows everything about the industry or your competitors, and then it can advise you the best kind of how we can increase our sales. So then how much would you pay for a 𝗟𝘂𝗰 like that? Right? So then I was surprised to hear, right, that okay, well, this is what you're willing to pay. And because for me, my experience has always been in the lifestyle industry. I am on board merchant, so I have a lot of merchant network one, right? And I understand this industry well enough to be able to bring sales in for, bringing value to these merchants. So one of the product pillar, right? It's a business facing merchant application that we can integrate AI into their business, 𝗟𝘂𝗰 into each and every business. And when we integrate it, it's a subscription model base. That means a monthly and an annual model, right? And people, they are willing to pay this one, right? That's number one. Number two, all right, remember I mentioned about the consumer facing pillar, right? The consumer facing app. So the consumer facing app is that which is Fynatic, which is what you saw. People can upload the things that they buy into the app, and then they can earn points. So when they upload their products that they buy, we are actually extracting data from the app one. So when we are when they are uploading their receipts, uploading their payment, we are actually feeding data to the AI. So we are actually building a super intelligence, right, that feeds on all this data. The more it gets data, the more it learns. The more it learns, the more it becomes super powerful. So once this artificial intelligence have its own set of data, right, have its own unique set of data, we own this source of data, and it becomes a very very valuable to governments, very valuable to businesses, because they all want this data. They want to know when people like what they like to eat, when they like to eat. I give an example, right? Imagine you're an F&B shop. You're an F&B shop. Okay, by the way, I'm not supposed to share all this one because it's still really with the joint venture company, right? It's all kind of like our secrets lah. But I want to cite an example, right? Imagine you're an F&B shop, and you're always innovating new food, right? Some of the best companies are those that come up with new innovative product lines, one like Luckin Coffee. You know Luckin Coffee, right? You know Luckin Coffee always come out new coffee. What, coconut latte?
China Starbucks.
Yeah, I saw what grape latte today. I saw every time they're coming out new innovative product. So the business that thrive are those that always have innovation and new things on. So now imagine, right, with the consumer application, we are able to learn through all the receipt scanning, right? All the data that all that purchase. We learned that in the past 3 months, more and more people they like yam, YAM, yam. People are eating more, buying more and more yam, right? So the AI actually can predict a trend that's happening, right? The AI actually learns, oh wow, there's a trend happening in this space. Consumers are liking more and more yam, and we predict that the next 6 to 12 months, yam will be a very popular trend in consumers' taste bud, right? So the artificial intelligence will be able to recommend to the F&B, the Jarvis lah, right? Will recommend, hey, this trend is going to start happening. We will recommend you to add yam into your menu. Wow, suddenly, right? Okay, this F&B can start coming up with yam ice cream, yam with spaghetti, you know, yam this, yam that, and then yam as the main promotion. And this will bring sales into their business. And they don't wait for the trend almost over already, then they innovate, because it takes time to innovate and create one, right? So the AI actually helps them predict it before it happens. And this is very, very powerful data. So this is just an example of what I'm citing, right? So back to the question, how does it generate revenue for the company? Is number one, we earn money through the subscription when merchants on board. Number two, it's when consumers spend in our partner merchant, we take a transaction fee from every time they purchase. So one very interesting business to reference is actually Grab, right? So Grab take a 15 to 30% transaction whenever you spend in their partner merchant. So that is revenue for the company. And we are talking about, imagine every time our customers spend in any merchant, we take a percentage, right? That is a very, very strong revenue for the company. So I hope this, this, okay, so again, this step one now, right? When we do this, we are actually helping the business, the ecosystem evolve. We are onboarding merchants into our ecosystem, which is part of our entire vision, right?
Yeah.
And this is really step one. By this help us drive revenue for the company. This adds value to the merchants, right? Because we drive traffic to them. We also integrate AI for them. This adds value to the consumers because we're doing a reward system to them, right? And this also helps the company, which in turn helps FinToken. So it's a win-win-win situation. On top of that is our first part to helping our ecosystem evolve, which is onboarding our merchants into our ecosystem. So hope this give a better clarity lah. Yeah.
Definitely the value proposition for this proprietary platform we're trying to build powered by AI. Once it comes to pass, of course, the big data is something that is very valuable to all the partners that we hope to bring on board. But of course, the key question everyone is concerned with this plan now, the timeline is hopefully end of the year, early next year.
Maybe for the
this new team for Fynatic to be launched.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So again, joint venture process, it takes time lah, right? There's uncertainty and all this.
Understandable.
So I mean, I hope lah. Again,
of course, when everything is settled, then as you work together with the CTO and the engineers, they'll have a better idea of the timeline part.
So this team is from I mean, they are all over the place. But the heads, right, are from North America and Canada lah. So there'll be different time zone, and that's why it also takes some time for us to always have this kind of discussion. And they actually flew down to Singapore back earlier. We actually met with them. We're actually quite excited to work together lah. But there are a lot of I know, as you know, joint venture, a lot of minor details.
Gotta have.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm hopeful lah. I hope that we can settle it ASAP and start moving in Q4 or end of this year already. This is what I hope lah. I'm determined to make it happen.
Okay, sweet. And let's see. Okay, so to wrap up the discussion on our allocation of resources right now, Mario had this question, we have AI, then we have BA, and then we have lifestyle. So right now, what I'm hearing is that we are streamlining. Is that where our resources and manpower will be allocated, or like what kind of, I don't know, percentage, or how is it being allocated?
Mm. As I mentioned, right, we will be fully prioritizing on building the AI infrastructure. That will be our 100% focus on building the AI, right? And that's one. Of course, there will definitely be so the product needs to be good first, right? Once the product is good, then the next part that we'll start pouring resources. Again, so. And because I need to drop operating expenses, right? So
Yep.
once we drop operating expenses, means to say that we need to put focus on one thing only, building the AI, right? Once the product is good, once we get it done, it's streamlined. We want the next part is we want to expand the team that can go and drive sales and revenue, which is the merchant acquisition, like business development and
Yeah.
marketing at that part. So that will be like a concurrent thing that we are moving towards, right? But the main priority, again, 100% will be fully focused on the AI infrastructure first. Yes.
And then the first deliverable of that AI-centric focus is Fynatic,
Yes.
right? And then hopefully we can create a source of revenue that will then funnel into continuing work on Nexus World, etc. The rest of the metaverse.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I believe this is Jay's. Actually, it seems more like a statement than a question. I agree with most of the things he says. Everything about Affyn is great. You know, our Nexus World concept, vision, leveraging AI, community oriented. But however, our execution has been found wanting, which I can see the merit in saying that. To him, BA was a mess. Lifestyle app demo, we didn't see much. So he's asking, is it made or how many percent, or is it fake? Nexus World, I think Nexus World, I don't know. Nexus World, I don't know whether the team has intention of showing the progress thus far. Bossy failed attempt. I'm not sure about that though.
Bossy not failed.
Yeah, Bossy is
Bossy is thriving.
Bossy is ongoing.
See the price chart.
Yeah. So we are basically, of course, we are far away from where we want to be on the timeline that we want to be, due to strategy and execution. So he's asking for you to
maybe
share
I
your
can
thoughts.
share. Okay. I want to address show a little bit more about Fynatic app lah. This is the consumer facing part of it. Maybe like you can see. Y'all can see. You can see.
Yeah.
Right, so I mean, just a very short glimpse lah, right? To let you guys see, okay, what it has. So for example, let's say consumers, very simple one. We want to put focus on rewards and ultimately we want to encourage them to upload their payment, right? They can do all this. They can get their points. They can browse all the merchants that are part of it. They can actually use their points to redeem vouchers. So one thing I really hope to do, right, is also on top of all this thing is to have on-chain activity also as well. When I say on-chain activity, it's, for example, we can work with getting consumers to actually earn points, use the points to actually redeem cryptocurrencies, earn other cryptocurrencies, right? And all that kind of stuff. So then we have this kind of on-chain activity. So yeah, I think so. You can see there's basically I just show you a glimpse only, right? Now this like slightly more than what you see. Yeah, you have your NFTs, your membership benefits, and all that kind of stuff. So
Damn.
yeah, a lot, right?
Wow, we need this out, man.
So
I mean, the one thing that I remember is that every single receipt counts.
yes,
Like in the world.
any receipt,
And I guess that's the best way to attract the consumer base to come in, because there's no downside.
Yeah.
We really need this out. And I guess to answer your question on doing one good thing first, I believe right now this is the one good thing that we are gunning for,
Mm,
that hopefully will gain traction and bring attention to our bigger project.
mm. Yep. So so yep, I would say that the lifestyle app is not fake, as you can see, right? Um Actually, we have the app. It's just more of whether do we want to activate users already. Once we activate users means we need to deploy capital to drive users in. But however, we felt that it's still too early, right? We haven't settled the joint venture yet, so we don't want to go and do this part yet. Until we settle the joint venture, we settle the foundational layer of the AI.
Yeah,
And then it makes sense, lah, right? From a business angle.
yeah.
Yeah, Bossy failed attempt. I don't think it's a failed attempt. Actually, it's doing well lah. The price chart. So it's
I
a
don't know.
anyways it's not a failed attempt.
The bossy admins look like they're having fun.
Yeah.
It's unbridled degen space, man.
Yep. And actually through Bossy we learned a lot of things, right? How to hype people up, how to get token price action, how to KOLs connection. Suddenly got a lot of opportunities that come to us, and one thing, right, it actually brought a lot of attention to Affyn. They all suddenly know about Affyn also. And because of Bossy. So that's one of the main primary benefit lah of what we wanted, what we did
Well, I
about.
mean that was the goal, right?
Yeah.
For Bossy and this 9GAG partnership thing to really fit into putting us
Mm,
in more light.
mm,
Okay, let's see. Okay, so real question. Uh, if you were not able to succeed as a metaverse company, well, technically we're still in the game, but okay, we are not there yet. How
mm,
certain are you in succeeding as an AI company?
mm,
And how can you assure us of the success of this pivot? Because there's obviously uncertainty.
mm,
And this also feeds into one of our OGs, Flores's question.
mm. Yep.
What's our success rate belief?
Mm.
Because
Fair.
obviously, understandable, people might lose confidence
Yep.
with this longer timeline and all that.
Yep. Fair. It's a very fair question.
Agree?
And my my personal opinion, right? Okay, not personal opinion, my business opinion is that to build Nexus World, it's way harder to building the game Nexus World, right? It's a lot more capital intensive and a lot harder as compared to building the AI component. Primarily because there was nobody okay, because as we see from Niantic example, right, was that the amount of time needed to build Nexus World, the amount of money needed to build Nexus World, the amount of developers needed to build Nexus World is really very scary lah, right? After really understanding it. But whereas the AI, we have Fynatic app ready, right? We saw the team demo the product, the joint venture team's product already, right? So we know there is a product already. That means to say that you ask me, am I confident? The product is there, right? We just need to merge it up and really how to say optimize it, right, to make it better. So, and moreover, I'm more confident now because there is a joint venture team that has the architecture there already, and the AI engineers with the experience and the expertise there. So that's why I'm more confident as compared to building Nexus World, with our current plan. So I hope this answers your question, right? Again, if you ask me, is there uncertainty? Definitely there's uncertainty one, right? Regardless
Yep.
of Nexus World or regardless of building AI. Ultimately, if you talk about us failing as a metaverse company, that goes the same for Meta, right? Meta as a metaverse company, they put all the focus on building a metaverse, and ultimately it did not come out also, and they pivot to artificial intelligence, which they are now starting to thrive. And I think that's also one thing we also learned that, right? That okay, if we do this, it cannot work. It's smarter and better for us to actually make this pivot. So that is what we think, right? Whether we succeed or not, again, this remains to be seen. There's uncertainty in the path forward, right? It's almost any startup, in almost any startup. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Welcome to crypto, guys.
But
Okay.
more importantly is we are still fighting, right? We are still determined to push it. We are not like throwing in the towel and say, "Wow, screw it, man!" Right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that other companies they will just give up already. You just throw in the towel and make excuses. It's too long, it's too difficult. Screw it lah. Forget it. Let's just give up. But we are still determined. We still have the fighting spirit to really make it happen. And we felt that this solution would be the right way to go.
And we are extending the runway, yeah, with this
Yes, and we are still here. That's the important thing.
streamlining.
Yep.
Okay, the next question I wanted to address was, where was it? Oh, I think it's okay. So once we get Fynatic out of the way, assuming that there's some level of success or not, I don't know. But I think a big question for me and also for many people is, what is the minimum state of Nexus world that we can work towards, that we feel is of value? Whether it is of value to additional investors or literally able to already generate a minimum level of value. That means not the end state, of course. I think the end state is really far away, but definitely we can release a so-called working product that people can taste and see. Oh shit, wow, damn, you know, the just like the OGs, all of us saw, like, wow, shit, this Nexus World really looks crazy. What is that minimum state? And
minimum state, okay, if let's say we do like Pokemon Go, right? Just one feature only, which is catching monsters. Just catching monsters, right?
yeah, I mean, forget PvP lah.
Forget PvP, right?
Do a single player first. I think it's captivating enough.
Yeah.
If I can go, hunting for buddies, I can do a few tasks, daily tasks. It's fun enough.
Yep. So if you look at the trajectory of Pokemon Go, who did just this one feature, also took them about 6, right? Just one feature only. It took them 6 years to get it right. So let's say we get there, right? Just that one feature of catching buddies only. Okay, this is what I think, right? This is what I think. If we have just this one feature only, in today's world, it may not satisfy current consumers. Reason why is because there are so many more. Okay, if you ask me 10 years ago, maybe yes, right? Maybe 10 years ago or 8 years ago during the Pokemon Go era, I think yes, it will do okay, and players will be excited about it to play it, and they'll go and catch it. But if we talk about in this age, right, this day and age, it may consumers' expectation and demand is very different from 8 years ago already, right? Because they have experienced a lot more different games, right? For example, the recent one, the 王者荣耀, what's that game called? King of Honors, I think, right? Wow, came in and just dominated the scene. The China game. Monster Hunter now, right? The way the game is being evolved as compared to Pokemon Go back then. So to be able to really compete on that level with just this one feature, I don't think it will work, right? I don't think people will play it, and I don't think people will pay money for it. If you ask me, so it needs more than that. It needs
You're saying we need integration already
we
with lifestyle.
Yes, we need the lifestyle integration. We need Web3 integration. We need play to earn. I think that is the minimum. That is your minimum to have out, so that you can stand out from every other competitor. Yeah.
That sounds pretty comprehensive.
Yes, and that's the reason why I say that we completely underestimated the projection, right?
So you're saying originally we intended to just release a beta,
Yes.
and the beta would not have those integrations.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely. It was just
That's the game, lah.
it would just be the game pillar only. Yeah, to actually test out, does it work? Does people like to play this, and things like that. It's just a
Right.
beta.
So this beta, you're saying you're more likely to, like, will there be a beta released, or like what? You're not going to release a beta, you're just going to go all the way to until all these integrations are worked in,
So
ideally.
yeah, oh no, we will still do the beta, right? It's just that we will currently we'll put focus on the AI development first. It drives us Fynatic, right? It drives us revenue, and then later on with the AI, it can help us scale Nexus World. And once we start on Nexus World, definitely we will first get into beta first. Right, and basically the same roadmap lah, right? Yeah.
Okay. And hopefully sometime next year.
Hopefully.
Asking
Hopefully. Many things can change
on
in
behalf
1
of
year.
everybody.
Yeah, many things can change in 1 year. I mean, if you look at Meta, right, they were just downward trajectory from 2022 all the way. They were like down, 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 down. And in that 1 year, suddenly that change only up and up and up and up and up. So, and many things can change in 1 year. We can only do our best, take our step forward.
Understand. Okay. Well, someone is asking, is there a plan B?
This
Are
is
you
our plan B.
sure you've got the right strategy? Are you sure you've got the right people who are going to execute this vision into reality? Is there a plan B?
Okay, so the thing is, the matter of fact is plan A, right, is we don't have enough people to execute that, right? That is almost certain road to death, certain to doom. This plan, do we have the team required? With the joint venture, yes, we have, right? If this does not work, again, we have to adapt lah, right? We are always adapting. Even this plan B didn't come from we didn't think of this plan B 2 years ago pivoting to AI, right? How we know generative AI would have been widely adopted and become a big part of our society today, right? So we adapted to this based on the current trend. Now, again, if let's say this thing doesn't work, right? We need to be adaptive on what's happening, and how we can always find a solution, right? So that's probably what we will be doing. And actually we are pretty confident, right, of this plan, because it's not something that we just think out of thin air and make an impulse decision. It was really through proper thought process before we make this decision.
Someone has a question or kind of like a suggestion because obviously in the meantime, our NFT holders are just sitting pretty. So he asks, why impose such a tight coupling, then NFTs just with Nexus World only, when some projects have actual use cases for NFTs and can be across projects? Although I do think that was our intention to have it cross-project. But could it be an idea?
It could be. It could
to
be.
partner with other projects
It
to
could
give
be.
utility.
It could be just that it doesn't add monetary value to the NFT.
Yeah, it's not a key driver right now.
Because if you can see other projects, they like maybe even like big names like Sandbox, all this, it doesn't add monetary value by doing this. To me, it's more like a gimmick, a short-term gimmick that doesn't really do much monetary value. And if there's no monetary value, then it's just more like a Now here's something. That's the reality lah, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
understand. And so another question, in this bull market, yeah, and you've spoken about the bull market before and capitalizing. So right now with this new plan, obviously 𝗟𝘂𝗃𝗍 is pushed back while we try to prioritize Fynatic.
Yep.
Um, is there a plan, a timeline for you to be able to capitalize, and what your goals are for this bull market?
So as mentioned, right, this bull market, since Affyn is front and center, using artificial intelligence as front and center, and if we are driving revenue, you'll see a lot of merchant onboarding, right? A lot of partnerships on board, right? Then naturally, people will be damn freaking bullish already, right? You'll see, wow, you have like 20, 30 merchants on board, let's say 100 business merchants on board as part of the ecosystem. The company making money, then we declare dividend to buy back Fyn. Then that is how we capitalize on the bull market. And that's also one of the reasons why I'm making this move. Because if we use the current plan, and continue with our 𝗟𝘂𝗃𝗍𝗿, we won't be able to capitalize on the bull market. Because a 𝗟𝘂𝗃𝗍𝗿 won't get us revenue, it won't be able to capitalize on the bull market. But by doing this, right, actually it's more exciting, because if we say, okay, let's just look from a narrative trend in Web3, right? I don't talk about actual delivery of product. I just talk about trends and hype and narrative in Web3. Metaverse trend and narrative is no longer talked about anymore already. When was the last time you heard about the word metaverse? Web3, almost unheard of. Maybe the last time you heard is Decentraland sandbox, right? So if you still write on the metaverse narrative, right, and want to capitalize on the bull market, I personally don't think it's going to work, right? From a speculation, from a marketing, from a narrative method. However, the current trends that are hype are categories like meme coins, RWA, and AI, right? So now with Fynatic launched, right, we are talking about narratives such as AI and RWA, and with actual product delivery, actual revenue, actual business partners, merchants on board, this is how we can capitalize on the bull market. Make sense? I hope it makes sense to you guys. So we believe that this method will be way significantly way better by to capitalize on the bull market if we lean into the AI and RWA narrative. Yep.
Yeah. Big goals, a lot of work to do to get there. Let's see. Trying to find okay.
I think
yeah.
I think okay, so somebody asked about would I release a new token for the new joint venture, right?
Right, yes.
So it really depends on the product and infrastructure, whether a new token is required. So for example, there are some tokens, right? For example, right, there are some architecture, some platforms, right, that the blockchain requires tokens that cannot have limited supply, right? Example Ethereum, right? Example Ethereum. So a project like Ethereum cannot have tokens that is limited supply. So if there's a requirement for it, this is just citing an example, right? If there's a requirement for it, then we will need to, right? At this moment, I cannot give that yes or no until we firm up the joint venture and the product roadmap and the product delivery and specifics, then we will know for sure. But at this moment, I cannot give you a yes or no.
What's in it for the team of AI engineers to help grow Affyn?
Oh, what is it? So because it's a joint venture, right? Means they own means they own equity stake into the company. We make money, we make money together.
Basically, they're invested in it as well.
Yeah. And I
Right.
think, okay, so the thing is, for the AI engineers, they have always wanted to come into Web3. They have long admired Affyn. They have proposed this joint venture to us much earlier already, since probably last year. But we didn't go into the details to talk about it. But they have always admired us. They have always admired what we are doing. They have always admired our vision, and they have always sell us on how AI can help our ecosystem in scaling our development, right? So of course, what is it in for them? It's that they get to be part of building this vision together. It's a much bigger and more ambitious project as compared to what they are currently doing. And we have the expertise in terms of Web3 development. We have the expertise in marketing, right? We have the expertise in areas that they don't have. So that's why that's what's beneficial to them. And the fact that we can join together basically benefit them and us also together. Yep. So I think it's really more from a financial and business standpoint that they benefit, riding on our IP and our idea and our current company's brand. For us, how we benefit is the technical capability and their technical expertise. So they provide the technical value. We provide the business, brand, IP, and Web3 expertise value. So we are actually we will still be the main in the joint venture. So yeah.
Understand. Well, it's good. I mean that they're invested in it, so they have a stake in expediting and making sure it succeeds. Well, of course, we are running out of time. It's been 2 hours. I just want to quickly summarize. There are, of course, many questions which actually cannot be answered now. But one of our OGs, HH, I believe is Heavenly Hazel. When will we get to see a glimpse of Nexus World again? And also, importantly, what can we as Affynians do to support the team? For example, helping with testing or spreading the word, etc.
First question is, when can we see Nexus World, right? I think that's the first question, right?
Or a glimpse, like
glimpse.
how we used to share updates on what we're doing and all that.
I see. I think at least for the start, right? Okay, I cannot share. I won't be able to give you a specific timeline because the fact and truth is I'm uncertain, right? But primarily because, as I mentioned, we put a lot of focus and priority on the AI infrastructure for now, right? And with that, right, this gives uncertainty on timeline for Nexus World. So but of course, the moment once we have it, we want to be able to share with you guys. I mean, hopefully lah, right? I just hopefully next year lah. Hopefully. But more importantly, what I hope is Fin token like that go up already. That's the more important part. Right. I hope you will prefer to see this Fin token going up than glimpse of Nexus World. That to me is the main priority first.
For sure.
Yeah, in the short term, we'll have volatility, lah, right? As I mentioned, not everybody will be on board this idea. Some people will be unhappy with this idea. Some people will be supporting this idea. Some will leave Affyn. New people may come in Affyn. Old people may leave Affyn. New people may come in Affyn. Every time there's such a big change, right? Naturally, this is the natural cause of things that happen. As a small company, will face it. Big companies face it even bigger, right? So I hope you guys have understanding that the purpose today, it's really to give you clarity on the rationale on why we make this pivot. And in the short term, really short term, right? Naturally, there'll be volatility and unhappiness one. But ultimately we hope we can convince you guys, right, in the mid to long term, we actually make the right decision.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, so of course, not every decision was perfect on hindsight. But I think this is the sustainable way forward. So really to kind of like summarize many of your questions, for example, are we going to see another evolution event? Will Affyn be attending the GPSS event this year? I think I can safely say probably not. I think in some sense we are kind of like coming back into our shell to refocus and to make sure we get the foundation built right and built quickly, and then we can come out and market again. Correct me if I'm wrong,
Yep.
Lucas.
Yes. Yep. So I think one thing also to let you guys know, it's as I mentioned, right, we want to put priority on making sure the business survive and making the business thrive. So and also since most of our AI engineers are all overseas, right, scattered overseas, we have scaled down and we'll be letting go the office also as well, right? And we'll be running this and internationally. Our work timing will be very different because they are in Canada and North America.
12 to 15 hours away.
Yeah, but we found a time to actually compromise together. So it's all good. I mean, we it's actually better for us, right? And we can breathe a lot more better. We have extended our runway, we have way lower our operating costs very happily. Yep.
Understand. And some friendly advice from HH once again. Thank you. He says, remember, AI is not the holy grail. So what he means is to test the software thoroughly and focus on quality as well, which I believe they will. I guess a follow-up question is, will we get to find out who this partner is?
Once we firm up, once yeah.
Ink, black and white.
Yes. I mean the thing is by right I'm not supposed to have this AMA now to share so much because it's still in the process. I took a risk lah, right? Again, okay, because you see, we have been through this before, right? We shared information too early to the community, even though we didn't record it back then, right? But it jeopardized the partnership because we shared info too early during the process. But however, we also wanted to please the community, right? We didn't want to everything firm up ready, wait until finish ready, then we share, right? Similarly to this situation, we didn't want to of course, in today's AMA, I won't be able to give so many answers like what you guys want to know, like exact timeline, all this kind of thing. I won't be able to give because I don't have all the information yet. But I still decided that I wanted to choose now to tell you guys, at least to let you know heads up beforehand, rather than I tell you all of this in November when I have more specific plan, November, December, right? When I have better clarity on timeline and all these things that happens. So but again, there's this risk lah, right? I took this risk to share with you guys. What I shared today may jeopardize the partnership and the joint venture because this AMA is recorded, right? So I'm also very careful of what I'm sharing and not sharing. I'm trying, on one hand, I want to be as transparent as possible. On the other hand, I need to protect the business and I cannot share everything, right? Because if it jeopardizes the joint venture, then we are back to square one again, back to the square one. So this is once we firm up ready, sign the deal to the dotted line already, okay, then we can start to be more publicized.
Understand. It's a risk, calculated risk, I think, but also I think it has to be said, you have to be commended for giving a heads up now, because the longer there is no news, the more expectations build. Like, I mean, even up to this point, expectations have been building. That's why a lot of the questions were focused around, Q4, when Nexus will, when this, all the deliverables that are in our existing roadmap. But really this kind of news, you have to come out early and as early as possible to share. I mean, and I guess of course, there's disappointment for me as well, but as a community member, I'm also appreciative of the transparency. We're still here talking about the difficult stuff, and like Lucas has shared, some of us may decide to go, some of us decide to stay, but that is understandable, and hopefully we hodl and make it together. So do you have any closing words for the community, or I mean thoughts from your own heart lah? Of
Yeah.
course.
So yeah. Okay. So my again, right, as right from the very beginning, as I mentioned, of course, when I share all this, I already expect that there'll be there'll be a group of people who will be unhappy with this decision, this new plan. There'll be a group of people who supports this new plan, right? And some may there'll be critics people who will criticize this new plan, that we are here to don't know, like they're unhappy lah, right? And I totally understand, and I'm not disagreeing with you guys, but my main intention has always been really to protect the business, right? Protect the business, and protect Fyn token holders. And in the short term, I understand short term may have volatility, but I believe this is really what I truly believe, right? That this is the best move to make. Because if this is the best move to make, this can help the company, right? At least to survive. And if we can really make this work in the next 6 to 12 months, then actually looking back, we'll be on hindsight, wow, what a great decision, right? So really, as me leading this company, I need to be able to anticipate what's about to happen. If I know that what we are going to do, if we continue doing what we do, we'll continue getting what we get, right? Which is quite insane, right? Expecting that what we do will do better than Niantic. I think that will lead us to sink the ship, right? That's why I need to make this change now, because I believe that this change can help us protect the business, and also protect Fyn token holders. So more importantly, I believe that this method, right, will put us at the forefront of innovation. It will not make us lag behind. Because if we don't change, we'll definitely lag behind everybody. People already move on already. So that's why I hope you guys understand, right? And making this move, right, makes me feel more excited about the future. The future is much brighter, right, by making this kind of change. And as startup, right, as I mentioned just now, as startups, one of the main strong advantage we have over big companies is our adaptability to change. That we can change and adapt very quickly. And I feel that, and I know that we should lean onto our advantage and strengths to make this kind of change and adapt when it presents the opportunity. And I think this is such a great opportunity, right? How often do you have 10 to 20 AI engineers to come on board with big names, experienced people to actually work on our vision together? I think that, and at the same time, we can write on the narrative of AI and RWA. So yeah, so this purpose of this AMA is to really clarify and give you the rationale of our pivot and our change. And yes, short term got volatility, but in the mid to long term, I know that the future is going to be bright for Affyn.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I mean, I fully agree. It's a really, really tough decision to make, but I think to see Nexus World come to fruition, which is actually all of our hopes and dreams and pretty much your original vision, a lot more work and resources were needed than was originally or envisioned. So really backing you guys to take it all the way and work these engineers hard. If you need us to give them a helpful spank on the bottom to code faster, just let us know. I think that's what Affinians can do. Maybe at least Bossy's help.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, again, yes, we make mistakes lah, right? And in any startup, I think we are all humans, right? We have to keep making mistakes to keep learning. There's no perfect way to. Not everybody is perfect, right? We make mistakes along the way. We learn. More importantly, it's when we make mistakes, right? What do we do about those mistakes? We have to learn from it and we adapt accordingly and we navigate forward. So yes, we make bad decisions. This one I completely own it. I don't think it's anybody's else's fault. It's all my fault, right? But ultimately, what do we actually learn from it? And so moving forward, right? I think we come off as a lot more experience, and with more experience, it can, and now we also have more connections already. In fact, we are way better than where we were last time. So moving forward, as long as we can get that product up, like actually you have a team that is way more experienced in Web3, who have learned so much already. And moving forward, we are a team that cannot be rifle with fun, right? So I think somebody also asked about exchange listing. I think that's one of the biggest question, right? As I mentioned, it's not that we don't want to list on the reputable exchanges. It's just that on reputable exchanges, you cannot just pay money to list on exchanges and say, hey, KuCoin, right? List us there, right? For example, an exchange like KuCoin, I mean, not, I don't know whether I can say that, but it's a 6-figure someone, right? And you need to hit certain volume and they qualify you to list you on exchange. Even for CX like Gate.io, right? They don't just list any project one. You can pay them, but you may not be able to list that. So there's a certain requirement. Now, if you get to the, don't say KuCoin, like a bigger ones, like maybe BitGet, Coinbase, Crypto.com, OKX Binance, all this is not, I want to list means I list. It doesn't work this way, one, right? You cannot pay them money to list, right? It's not that I don't list. Now, there are some that you can pay to list, the lower tier exchanges, but there is no point for me to pay money to exchanges that is lower tier because it won't help much in Fin token other than maybe short-term hype. But even lower tier exchanges also won't help in short-term hype. So that's why I don't know why, I don't think it's a good idea to really do an exchange listing now until we start getting the fundamentals right, start driving revenue and start driving demand to Fin and having volume, and then an exchange listing will start making sense. So this is really to clarify on exchange listing, how exchange listing works in Web3. And one day happen that you have your own Web3 project, right? You will start to understand that exchange listing is a complicated process. It's not, especially for the mid-tier to high-tier, like KuCoin and above, or Gate.io and above, you cannot just pay and list on. Yeah, I mean, we may have this perception that we can, but you cannot, right? So this is to transparently let you know, of course, I would love to get listed on Binance. They ask me money pay, I'll pay, right? But it's just that they don't just allow you to list like that. So yeah.
Not so simple.
Not so simple, yes.
You need to qualify first.
Yep.
Final suggestion from Captain Obvious to incorporate our NFTs in the HODL program to give them short, medium term value.
Actually, a lot of people make good money. So I heard a lot of people make good money from when Fin token went from 1 cent to 19 cents. Everybody text me, congrats. Oh, thank you. So a lot of people make money from that run up. From that run up during the, I think also because that time in March, right, was also the gaming hype. 19x in 2 to 3 months, it's, I think, quite impressive lah, right? And people are happy. They make good money, right? So that was also a pretty good, like, we also learned a lot from that. So it's not just but unfortunately I didn't get anything from that. So but anyway, it's for us, it's really more of an experiment to really learn how Web3 marketing works and how to drive hype in Web3. So yeah, and from that we actually gained a lot of connections. So really looking back, right, luckily we did that because of us doing that. Not only did a lot of people make money from that, we also gained the connections, and that's also where we got to get connected to Niantic, and that's where we saw this problem before we hit the iceberg. So we are like almost like a Titanic, almost going to hit the iceberg already. But luckily this happened and we were able to steer away from the iceberg before it happened. So really looking back is thankfully this happened.
So partnership with Niantic?
Not so soon. Yeah.
Did they give any indication?
Okay. However, Niantic, right? They actually came right. They are talking about we can use their technology, their tech part, their architecture and everything. They say we are ready. We can actually talk further one. So we are in a group chat with them.
Right.
And the team from we talked to the team from Japan. Right. So yep, the door is open. It's just that whether do we have anything for Niantic only. So not yet. I would say not yet.
Right.
Yeah, we basically add no value to Niantic at this moment.
Soon.
Yeah. So
Next year.
mm,
Okay. Got it. So I guess this is all the time we have for this evening. So of course, what I can say is it has been not an easy announcement, not an easy session to host and facilitate, and even as a committee member as well. But really looking at how things stand, really this is the way, I guess, the most sustainable way forward to see Nexus World come to light eventually. And hopefully really Fynatic and the lifestyle app and the big data that we're coming up with will be of use to the ecosystem, to the metaverse. And definitely hope the next AMA is going to be on the up and up. I think we expect updates on Fynatic and how things are going, or maybe the updated timelines of stuff. Yeah, once the admin of the new team is settled.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So to remind everyone, because of the gravity of tonight's news, we want to put this video online. So it will be online. If you missed out on anything, you can refer back to this video to check back on any of the points that you might have missed out. But otherwise, I think we're done for tonight.
Yep.
Stay strong, Affinians. We will make it together.
Yep. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Peace out, guys.